This is Hopeless Peaches, a YouTuber that gained hundreds of thousands of followers, was a part of the group called the Senate, and also called out bad actors in the community. But how did they end up getting called out in the end? How did their reputation get ruined? And what made Hopeless Peaches call out the very person that they were friends with for years? To answer those questions, we have to first uncover why Hopeless Peaches had a good reputation in the first place. May 17th, 2015, Hopeless Peaches started their channel and was inspired by the likes of CreepShowArt, and it overall showed in their content, making art drama related videos with speed paint in the background or a still with a drawn background. CreepShowArt happened to stumble upon their channel, and Peaches ended up getting a huge shout out from none other than CreepShowArt. This was a huge deal back then, as CreepShowArt, though small, was overall really well known to the greater community. It didn't have as bad of a reputation that they have today. Peaches and Creepshow after this shout out built a bond with each other, where CreepShowArt considers them to even be a little sister. Around this time, Peaches and her would collaborate on 2 separate videos, one of them sadly not doing too well. This was a great connection for Hopeless Peaches to have, especially to get a collab and shout out from Creepshow. Hopeless Peaches after this would have 2 videos do pretty well, one being their story time about how a game dev allegedly tried to steal their artwork.
This guy is trying to make a game with a sketch that isn't his because he never paid.
Hopeless Peaches would also gain some relevance, covering a streaming controversy of a streamer called Kuno. This controversy mostly consisted of a streamer mocking a younger artist's portfolio live on stream.
And mock it. Why? Because this person who wasn't objectively better at art.
Overall, I find this situation pretty stupid, as I think if you post something online, anyone has the right to give their opinion on it. Regardless, Hopeless Peaches had grown a sizable following and had built some great connections, though the bond with Creepshow wouldn't last forever, and the two started to show their differences. It all started when supposedly CreepShowArt released their video on Jaclyn Hill, where their video didn't do so well as mentioned before. CreepShowArt would talk in DMs, where Peaches self-deprecates and eventually ends with Peaches soft-blocking Creepshow. Creepshow to this day has stated that the real falling out was because of Peaches spreading a false narrative to others, and also helping a creator make a video against them. Who is this creator? Well, it was an art commentator by the name of Toby, who got popular over being one of the first to call out Creepshow. People around this time really respected CreepShowArt, so this video caught the eyes of a lot of people, and inadvertently created the overall downfall of CreepShowArt in the future. Toby was in the good graces of the art community due to this video, however she would start to get into drama that plagues her channel to this day. Though CreepShowArt has stated this narrative to be a fact, on the contrary, Peaches disputes this narrative by CreepShowArt, with testimony from Toby saying they didn't help him and other relevant info we'll get into later. Hopeless Peaches had gained a good standing within the community, with the only loss being of a big connection, though connections aren't everything on YouTube. But this does beg the question, how exactly did Hopeless Peaches' reputation get ruined with such a promising future? Toby, an art commentator that we've mentioned previously, would upload a video mourning their dog for over 36 minutes, when at the very end they decided to give a channel update and drop a bombshell allegation.
Ben Louis on Twitter, who draws underage characters. Some of them he ages up, like physically, but a lot he doesn't, which shows that he actively chose not to do it.
The creator in question was a YouTuber by the name of Ben the Looney, who, although no one in this drama I've seen has brought this up, has an alleged horrible and depraved history to say the very least. Ben the Looney has in the past allegedly defended Shadman, an artist that drew art of real and Ben the Looney had apparently this to say about Chadman's drawing on LT Corbus.
When you get down to it, it's just a girl's microphone. That just happens to look like a symbol.
He then clarifies that while he himself does not enjoy he will tolerate other artists for drawing it.
For some reason, his passive allegedly defending a was never brought up to this drama, and they only went after Toby for apparently being a hypocrite. In Toby's own words, they think that Ben is a PDF file. However, this would be a regrettable thing to say from Toby, as people gathered screenshots of what is allegedly Toby drawing of an anime character who was 16. And looked like they had a suggestive collar, if you get what I mean. A lot of people say this is a hypocrisy point for them calling out Ben the Looney for drawing when them themselves were accused of doing the same thing. This was a minute thing in the drama, even though I'd argue it's extremely important. The biggest claims that our community cared about for some reason was them apparently being transphobic and racist because they supported PewDiePie and Shane Dawson. Throughout this entire situation, a YouTuber by the name of Prismate Luke would make multiple videos on the drama and give his opinions on the subject. In his third video on Toby, Hopeless Peaches would come into play. For some reason, towards the end of the video, Luke randomly just throws Hopeless Peaches into the drama, involving them in a situation that, to be all honest, they weren't really that involved in. Prismate Luke in this video makes an insane claim about Peaches that is flat out wrong and has no real basis, which would not only slander Peaches to over 200,000 people, but even had people call them a baiter in DMs as well. To break down how this claim of baiting against Hopeless Peaches was false, I'm gonna summarize it. Peaches, whether this was known before or after the drama took place, had diagnosed depression and takes medication for it, a point that is shown in a video made by Harley TBS.
Peaches has depression. Peaches also has medication. People have good days and bad days.
Now regardless, even if you didn't have that context, you can't really make the claim off of the screenshot. All it says is that they're leaving Twitter. Nowhere does it say that they're going to take their own life. Building on to this point, they take a lot of mental health breaks, which will be something of relevance also later on in this video. After this video, Prismate Luke decides to make a full-fledged video against Peaches with the help of a huge art commentator at the time, CreepShowArt. Someone, as we've grown to know throughout this video, has a long history with Peaches. Prismate Luke, with the help of Peaches' former friend CreepShowArt, made an insane hit piece on Hopeless Peaches, where the whole point of the video is to prove that Hopeless Peaches is a liar. So what exactly do they claim? Well, the video starts off not with Luke making a claim, but actually walking back one he's already made.
And I said she was sympathy baiting to her audience by not only constantly saying how she's going to be taking a break for her mental health and never doing it, instead just ignoring what she said and acting like she never posted it.
Luke, for some reason, called it sympathy baiting instead of unalive baiting. This completely changes the conversation against Hopeless Peaches and is a contradicting narrative. There's a huge difference between the two, and I don't think this was on accident. I am led to believe that he slipped in sympathy baiting because he knew baiting was unsubstantiated, or maybe I got on my tinfoil hat. Furthermore, Luke then goes on to show two screenshots of Peaches from someone's comment section, where Peaches says, "People are just attacking me because I didn't delete myself." Luke, seeing these screenshots, interprets it in the worst way possible and overall misrepresents the screenshots. Luke, from these screenshots, claims that Peaches said that Luke wished they committed, which isn't what they said if you had any charitability. You can see that they really just meant they were being labeled a unalive baiter because they didn't die. This is just worded very badly from Hopeless Peaches, and Prismate Luke used this to his advantage. He even showed DMs between him and Peaches where he misrepresents screenshots again, where Peaches claimed that they said that Peaches doesn't have a mental illness. This was a small portion of the DM, and the thing Peaches was actually saying was questioning Luke on why he claimed that they were a unalive baiter and finding it upsetting. Now Luke, after this, moves from his drama with Peaches and apparently got stuff from CreepShowArt about the allegations we have mentioned previously. Peaches was claimed to get mad at CreepShowArt's video performing bad, which later DMs to the situation would prove this to be false. Luke also shows Peaches not liking Shannon in a Twitter post, which is overall just a nothing burger. I mean, you can talk about people that you don't like, especially if you have a falling out. Luke just comes off as pretty soy. Luke didn't stop here though, and he ended up making a second video on Peaches, where he brings up a second set of allegations involving a YouTuber named Kamala Cuevas. According to Prismate Luke, apparently Peaches and Kamala agreed to work on a collab together for an art piece. Kamala tried selling the collab with Peaches, later telling them that they don't have their consent to sell it. After this, Peaches would make a post against Kamala claiming that they are selling their art without their consent, which Kamala claims they didn't make a dime off of, and did what Peaches asked. Furthermore, Peaches claims they were not credited. Now, with this allegation, the one screenshot they use, there's no proof Peaches agreed to it, and is more just agreeing to collaborate and do the art. Peaches did wrongfully claim that they were not credited, as if you look at this art piece, they are 100% credited. To this day, Peaches has apologized since this situation on 3 separate occasions on wrongfully claiming that they were not credited. Luke then goes on to talk about how Kamala claimed that they were bullied so badly they got sent to the hospital, though again, this is just testimony with no real evidence. These videos on Peaches are really slanderous, and and poison the well on any criticizable points they can pull from these videos on Peaches. The public consensus around this time was against Peaches, as Luke was signal boosted by CreepShowArt at the time. In most situations, you think that this would end, with people calling out Luke for the amount of false stuff in these videos, but that didn't really happen at the time. Hopeless Peaches was slandered without at the time no one really to help them besides themselves. And let's just say Prismate Luke, though bad for Peaches, was really just the calm before the storm. CreepShowArt thought that Prismate Luke's videos were not enough and ended up making her own video on her channel about Hopeless Peaches. I said it was the calm before the storm because although Prismate Luke's videos were big, they were nothing compared to CreepShowArt's video that got over 1 million views. CreepShowArt states that in the video that she reached out to Peaches in private, although for some reason never mentions that Peaches said that she was not involved in the Toby video. It doesn't really make sense not to mention that unless she purely only did it out of malicious intent for another point to make against them. Peaches, now having more heat than ever, made a response video to CreepShowArt, but swiftly deleted it because more than likely it was a bad video. This really didn't help Peaches if they were trying to sway the public opinion. Peaches was in a bad spot, and that prompted people to look back into the allegations levied against them, and these people ended up making a document debunking the false claims made against Peaches and criticizing Peaches where it was needed. CreepShowArt, in seeing this, made a follow-up video, slandering Peaches even more. CreepShowArt's second video on Peaches is laughably bad, and she continues to push a narrative that Peaches is a horrible person and a liar. Let's break it down. CreepShowArt first goes on for some reason to claim that a YouTuber by the name of Mega Common was sexist that had no real basis at all, and was all over the fact that he was reluctant to cuss around her apparently.
And also, might I add, Mega Comment, let it be known that I so appreciate the fact that you try to keep it classy in front of us women by not swearing. I really do appreciate that because my fragile little constitution simply cannot handle any form of cussing. If I hear someone swear even a little bit, I just fall to pieces.
She later goes on to claim that this was just a joke, but with the tone of her voice and overall how she worded it, I don't buy it in my opinion. She then goes on to claim that Peaches doxed her phone number to the document writers, a claim that is false and is unsubstantiated.
It also makes me feel entirely weird that all of these people have seen my private phone number, so that's fun. I love that.
Furthermore, CreepShowArt has an absolutely horrible point claiming that Peaches is a racist because they disagree with a person of color, which I don't think needs much commentary to tell you how stupid of a point this is.
He a bit racist when we get into what you try to pull with Kai and Omnia. I mean, you have to be the white girl victim to the angry black woman and black man, right? But I'm not there yet.
He then goes on to say Peaches never apologized to Camilla, which we've already gone over isn't true. She then addresses Luke where he falsely claimed that Peaches was a bigger channel than Creepshow, and lastly that Peaches is talking behind her back, which has no real evidence. With so many plot holes in Prismate Luke's story, along with CreepShowArt's, it wasn't long before there began to be a crack in the foundation of their stories. Multiple YouTubers began to call out both Prismate Luke along with CreepShowArt, like Harley TBS, Just Stop, and Just a Robot. The public opinion would start to sway in Hopeless Peaches' favor. Hopeless Peaches would then address everything made against them in a way better response. Hopeless Peaches goes on to debunk pretty much everything we've already talked about, besides around 3 things that are pretty notable. They show a screenshot showing they reached out to CreepShowArt about the doxing claim, where CreepShowArt lies and says that they've never said it. Peaches then shows a pinned comment from CreepShow, where she adds clarification that she didn't talk about in her original video, where she accuses Peaches of doxing her phone number to the document writers. And lastly, Peaches denounces ever spreading rumors about CreepShowArt. After this, Hopeless Peaches was overall vindicated in the community. Peaches would go on to make content and still grow on the platform. That was until, as of recent, there's been new allegations levied against them. But before we can uncover these allegations, you have to first explain who LioConvoy is and why his relation to Hopeless Peaches is so important. LioConvoy is a YouTuber who has gone through one of the weirdest changes in niches. He started out as an ordinary guy who expresses nostalgia for the early days in media, like his reviews on He-Man, Transformers, Sailor Moon, and so much more. He then got into some very niche dramas, like the one time he attempted to debunk a game theory video, though nothing would compare to when he changed his channel to be a predator hunting channel. These style of videos gained his channel quite a lot of traction, and Leo started to make a name for himself. He also started gaining a lot of of respect in the art community for these videos, with some of his most well-known coverages being the Spoctor case and the Smash Bandicoot videos. However, for a YouTuber who has been on the platform for as long as he has, you will definitely find yourself getting into several controversies. A fast forward to 2023, because a lot of things happened between this time and 2016, though not really anything worth noting, although by this time, him and Hopeless Peaches would have found each other by now, to grow a liking for each other as friends, and weirdly LioConvoy would adopt them to be their online dad. They would continue to handle a good full of cases together, being the good guys that we definitely needed. Since he covered serious situations, he would start to get a lot more traction to his channel for covering more serious cases that I mentioned before, like the Smash Bandicoot case. Despite him not being the first, he was a notable person in that situation. Now, it is true that Leo is really respected in his own community. That was not true when talking about the commentary community. Over the years, him and Peaches had several videos made on them, which admittedly some of the reasons would be valid. There was a callback in 2022 known as the Rosa Call, which got them into hot water. For some much needed context, there was an alleged predator who made their way freely roaming in the server, and of course, Hopeless Peaches and LioConvoy took it upon themselves to look on it and be the detectives on the case, which normally would have been fine and greatly appreciated. However, when they confronted one of the people, it turns out that they were mentally disabled. So this call mainly just turned into Peaches and Leo just bullying a mentally disabled person. And when I say mentally disabled, it was so bad they genuinely believed LioConvoy could control the wolves. I highlight this because this will show to be a great hypocrisy later on in the video. February 26th would be the day where allegations from 5 years ago would drop and resurface by the user that goes by the name Crystal Flame. Crystal Flame a while back was meant to look through Discord chat logs. However, they have discovered something they felt was worth mentioning to some friends, mainly bringing up to LioConvoy and confronting Hopeless Peaches about it. You see, when Hopeless Peaches was 18 to 19, they would talk inappropriately in a server that was filled with minors. However, the problem LioConvoy had with the allegations is that there was no way to prove Peaches knew they were or any age verification for that matter. When Peaches was confronted about this, they claimed to not even remember the situation that well, if it happened at all. Crystal Flame dropped the 18-part thread, officially making the once private situation now public. Of course, LioConvoy wasn't too happy about the thread, and even made the claim that Crystal Flame called Hopeless Peaches a pet, which while it is true Crystal Flame didn't outright call them a pet, they did have this to say in their thread. It is important to understand that the only reason I and fellow members of the GTC interacted with Hopeless Peaches was because we were unaware of their actions. Had any of us been aware beforehand, we would have never engaged with somebody who posed a risk to children, which, as you can obviously tell, is heavily insinuating that they are one given the wording. Now, LioConvoy did respond to the thread in defense of Hopeless Peaches with a video that dropped on March 13th called Crystal Flame's Claim against Hopeless Peaches. He makes the claim that Crystal Flame is a manipulative liar based on what they said in some Discord calls, and their actions after the calls being the opposite of what they were saying. Crystal Flame saw the video and claimed Convoy took things out of context. So on March 16th, they dropped a video in response to the situation, showing more of the calls and try to correct the record and highlight LioConvoy took the calls out of context to highlight a narrative. Crystal Flame also says that they don't believe Peaches is a and would never call them such a thing. Just when everyone thought things couldn't get any messier, there was documents revealed to be dropped around the 18th of March. So around this time, Hopeless Peaches deleted all of their socials, and people haven't heard from them in a little while, thinking they could have been gone from the platform forever. However, that would change when Hopeless Peaches, Cosmic, and Luma dropped documents all alleging LioConvoy is an and ableist. They apologized for the call where they were bullying the mentally disabled person, which is what people were giving them backlash for when trying to call Leo an ableist for mocking someone recently that he believed didn't have a mental disability. They then move on to say that the reason why they left the internet was to get away from LioConvoy to truly find themselves again. Peaches alleged a lot of crazy things, like saying he verbally and emotionally abused them, and also alleged that he called Hopeless Peaches an apologist, and also claimed he lied about a lot of details that happened behind the scenes. Leo did say he was going to make a response since all of the new situations is blowing up in his face, while other situations have been rehashed as well. However, the whole month he has just been posting Hatsumiku shorts instead of responding to everything.
Finishing up the first full weekdays of Miku month with day 6 of Miku month.
Overall, the story of Hopeless Peaches is a interesting one to say the least. Hopeless Peaches has somehow gone from being vindicated in the community to now leaving the internet and turning on their online dad. This is part 1 of 2, as in the next video I will go in depth on the Senate and LioConvoy's new response to the allegations. But yeah, that's about it. And if you enjoyed this video, then you should check out my last video, where a disturbing animator almost got away with one of the most disgusting things a human being can do.